Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of This Week in Philadelphia Sports, where, as you might have guessed it, we go over everything that's happened this week in Philadelphia Sports. Again, if you're new to this channel and you do enjoy this content, leaving a like would be absolutely amazing. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you're new around here, but more than anything, don't forget to leave your comments on what we talk about today and even other things such as my hair, which I would blame on quarantine, but we all know that even when quarantine ends and I can attend a barber, it's not getting better, is it? So we move on. There wasn't a tremendous amount in the world of news this week when it comes to Philadelphia sports teams, at least when it pertains to the Eagles. We've got to that point where we're just analysing analysis, which is my least favourite point. I literally refuse to do it. PhillySportsNetwork.com, the YouTube channel, is very, very rare that I will go, this man thinks this, because I might as well just think it myself. But I do think it's worth touching on some of those rumours and at least trying to piece together how feasible they are. Before we get to the juicy trade stuff though, I did just want to say a big shout out to Dallas Goedert, who is pressing charges to the man who sucker punched him in a bar last week. We stand a king. He may be 6'5", he may be a tight end, but he got absolutely mollywalloped, blindsided by this guy that just, I don't know why, like, it was so stupid. He just had no rhyme or reason to do it. It's absolutely pathetic. The guy that punched him probably knew that he, Goddard may not press charges. He's an NFL player. He probably doesn't need the money. Oh no! Dally G is going straight to court. He's pressing charges. He is sending that guy to the gulag for all he's worth. And I can't wait. Secondly, a juicy little photo was posted today on the Instagram of Jalen Hurd. Wait, that sounds dodgy. Can we redo that? Yeah, alright. An exciting photo. No, still bad. A photo was posted on Jalen Hurd's Instagram earlier today showcasing him and DeSean Jackson apparently working out together, which can only be seen as a good thing. We saw Carson Wentz get a lot of those younger receivers together over the past couple of weeks. We have now seen even Rasul Douglas going out and getting work with a DB's coach who has also worked with Darius Slay. Keep your eyes peeled on that. We may have something coming for you soon. But seeing Jalen Hurd and DeSean Jackson work out together, it's exciting because we all know that in week 3, we're going to see Carson Wentz to Jalen Hurts to DeSean Jackson, touchdown, everyone's a winner. So it's important to get that chemistry in. But please, for the love of all things to the midnight green, can we not descend into the chaos that DeSean Jackson worked out with Hurts and not Wentz, and now he loves Hurts. Look, we don't have to be the overprotective boyfriend, okay? We can let them work out. They're just teammates getting a workout in. There is a lot to like about that. Without OTAs, without training camp being at its fullest, those veteran leaders are going to be that much more important to younger players. And when you've got a rookie quarterback, a second-round pick that does have to learn the playbook, that does have to get up to speed, having someone who's been around the league as long as DeSean Jackson in Philadelphia, on and off, as long as DeSean Jackson, it can only be seen as a positive sign, so I'm all for it. Right then, on to the trade talk, and there has been plenty of it over the past week, and it's understandable because a lot of it obviously stems from the injury to Brandon Brooks. And the first thing that came out was from MMQB. So this came out regarding Patriots lineman Joe Thuney, and it was from Albert Breer, who simply stated that if the Eagles get a few weeks into training camp and they're not too convinced by Matt Pryor, then he wouldn't be surprised if he picks up the phone call. And that's all it was, and I wouldn't either. I mean, in fairness though, Thuney is going to cost the Eagles a lot of money. The Pats franchise tagged him this offseason, and while he may fit the team brilliantly, the team don't really want to part ways with too much in cap space, given the fact that next year they're in a $50 million hole, and we don't know how much that cap's going to change with the impact of COVID. Usually it goes up. It may see a reduction, and if that happens, the Eagles are going to be swimming against a very strong tide filled with sharks and whales and crabs and sea lions. Are they vicious? Thuney would cost the Eagles $14 million, leaving the Eagles with around $10 million in cap space this year. But again, they probably wouldn't want to go and spend it on that type of player, and it would cost a fair bit to drag him away from New England as well. Let's be real here, the Pats have just acquired Cam Newton. They may be looking for some more play action sets. Now, if Cam doesn't start, it's going to be Jarrett Stidham, but again, they want to try and keep him on his feet and buy him as much time as possible, and Thuney's been tremendous at that for Tom Brady. Let's not forget that over the last 5 years, he's been one of the league's premier interior guards. Last year, he allowed 16 pressures on 693 pass blocking snaps, which is pretty damn good. I mean, it's not Brandon Brooks level of mystical, but It's good, but his athletic profile fits this team beautifully. The Eagles, of course, run a zone blocking scheme for the most part. They want to get guys to the second level. Thuney had an electric 40-yard dash. He jumped like a monster. I think it was the second best among all interior linemen. The guy's an absolute man mountain, and I think he'd be a great fit for the team on the field. Problem is, though, that Thuney is a left guard, so all of a sudden that would surely push Seumalo to right guard, which, although we know Seumalo is versatile, is going to be suddenly mirroring, and that could cause a little bit of a complication. But I do know that Seumalo does have a potential future at centre. The Eagles have almost been low-key trying to groom him there ever since that preseason. I like the move with Jack Driscoll, but I do feel like Seumalo could be that natural heir to the throne. So I don't know. Maybe it ends up you bring in Thuney, you bump Seumalo over there for a year. Then if Kelsey retires, Seumalo comes in, you extend Thuney, Brooks comes back. But if you do that, you then end up with the problem of paying two guards a ridiculous amount of money. In a dream world, you add an elite guard to replace an elite guard, but I can't see that happening there. It's going to cost the Eagles way too much to even pay the salary. We haven't even gotten into what it's going to cost them to acquire a franchise tag guard in his prime, coming off a ridiculously good season, who fits this team perfectly. Like, the Eagles are going to be the ones knocking. I can't see the Patriots wanting to let him go anytime soon, so the price is going to be driven up massively. That doesn't bode well. So I can't see it happening unless the Eagles get super desperate. Instead, I think they're going to roll with Matt Pryor. Second one was obviously Jamal Adams, and we've spoken about this a little bit before. Do I think the Eagles will go in for Jamal Adams? Probably not, but any team worth their salt at least has to be interested. I think the worry is that the price is going to be so exponentially high, not even regarding the contract, just actually getting him out of New York, which he clearly wants, isn't going to be easy. Now, Adams is an absolutely ridiculous safety, arguably the best in the league. He can play everywhere on that defense. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you asked him to punt a ball, it'd be as good as Cam Johnston. But the Eagles have invested in a very different path at safety. They've gone very short term with one long term option in the way of Kayvon Wallace. And without knowing what you've got there, you don't just want to bring in an elite talent for the hell of it that could either A, stagnate the growth of Wallace, B, make half of the talent you've bought in irrelevant, and C, end up kind of putting you in a bit of a cap hole in the long term when we know that 2021, 2022, when the Zach Ertz, the Dallas Goedert situation heats up, Carson Wentz's contract gets very filthy very quickly, and that offensive line and defensive line are all going to need sort of rejuggling again. Are you going to be able to manage one of the league's premier stars? I doubt it. I would love to see it. I would be all for it if Howie can make it work. If anyone can, Howie can. I can't see it happening though. And thirdly, ESPN came out and said the Eagles should trade Sidney Jones for Ethan Pocic. So that's... see, I'm off. So Field Yates basically suggested a player-for-player swap. Sidney Jones for Ethan Pocic. Brilliant. Pocic has actually missed 18 games in the last 3 years, so that's a fantastic start when replacing an injured guard. And the other thing is that last year, he barely saw the field. He played 100% of the snaps against the Bengals in week 1, and then 40 for the rest of the year, so that's good. Not only that, but there is still reason to be confident in Sidney Jones, as we broke down in a film room earlier last week, where I do think there's still upside. He showed that last year. He flashed that potential on tape. For me, with Sidney Jones, it's always been a case of mental toughness, of confidence, of overcoming injuries. I think he's finally getting over that hump, and you're starting to see that elite play, his ability to stay in the hip pocket of receivers and really jam the ball out of the way. His pass defenses last year spiked. He was absolutely brilliant considering the amount of snaps he played and the fact he was benched for 4 weeks. So, given that the Eagles need a cornerback too, if you get rid of him, that puts an immediate sense of pressure on both Avonte Maddox and Trevor Williams. It's not what you want. You can get one more year of Sidney Jones before you let him go, and trading him for a guard that has missed a lot of time, that isn't particularly brilliant, that isn't particularly athletic, I don't like it. It's just a move for the hell of making a move. I'm not a fan. Well, now that's out of the way, and I've just ruined every Eagles fan's dreams for the next 2 weeks or so. Let's get on to some of the other teams. Some positive news for Flyers fans. Oscar Lindblom returned to the ice last week down at the Flyers skate zone for the first time since December, and was of course course, diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer in Ewing's sarcoma. Now, he seems to be veering towards the end of his treatments. He's had nothing but positive feedback from the medical personnel associated with him. To see him on the ice with his teammates smiling so soon after going through such a life-changing, life-threatening illness, it's amazing. Like, it's such an inspiration, and I'm so happy that one of the nicest guys possible is able to fight through this and get back on the ice. Now, I don't think we're going to see him in time for the playoffs, but just having him around the building, having him around the teammates, it's going to do wonders for morale. And I'm so thankful that not only is he able to recover from that illness, but that his career can live on, that he can continue to do what he loves for a living. And it's just so wholesome to see. Oh, we do have baseball! Woo! It's 60 games! Yeah. Teams will report to camp on July 1st, along with the Phillies, who somehow missed the deadline for their 60-man roster by 4 hours and then submitted a 53, so it's like they very much rushed it and put it all together. But the Phillies will return to action on July 1st for training camp, followed by a 60-game season. So that will be very interesting indeed to see how the new designated hitter rules take place, to see who they go with that. Will it be someone like Alec Baum? Will they kind of keep it interior for now with some of the more veteran players? Who knows? The Sixers' schedule has been announced, and at first glance, I'm impressed. I think there's a good chance they can make a run here. Only 4 of their 8 matchups would have made the playoffs in the regular season, so that's only 4 games they're gonna choke, and it's those 4. Those are the ones, you know, the fourth quarter leads by 20 points where that's the one, that's them. Now, what's interesting here is that the Sixers are playing these games with 1 day's rest. Now, obviously, there's no travel. They don't have the fatigue factor anywhere near as much. There's no kind of ability for jet lag or sleep habits or body clocks or anything like that, which should be an issue at that level anyway, but it does play a factor. But the Sixers were 21-18 when there was a day separating games, so that's sort of worth noting. And they're 8-2 with no rest, so don't sleep, alright? Just don't sleep. I think they've genuinely got a chance to make some noise here. What do you guys think they're going to do by the time the playoffs roll around? Are they going to be able to make a run? Let me know down in the comments. But that is it, guys, for another week of news in the world of Philadelphia sports. If you enjoyed this content, it would be amazing if you could hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch this. From myself, Liam Jenkins, my Twitter is at LiamJenkinsPSN. I'll see you soon.